His members approached and asked, "Master, are you all right?" Thomas, slightly annoyed, answered, "Don't come any closer." Meanwhile, on one side, Jinwoo summoned Kaisel and Igris to take Jinho to the hospital to get treatment. And soon after, Kaisel flew away carrying Igris and Jinho. And now the situation began to heat up. Thomas Andre had released his power aura and stood at the front line, leading all the hunters from the Scavenger Guild. Whereas from the opposing side, Jinwoo then summoned his shadow army. Seeing this, Thomas smiled and murmured, "All right, at least you are very worthy to face. Screw the formalities now. There's only one way to restore my pride, and that is by killing this arrogant guy." Thomas then said to Jinwoo, "It's not too late to admit your mistake, and at least I will spare your life if you apologize." However, instead of apologizing, Jinwoo challenged back by raising his middle finger. And of course, that made Thomas even more annoyed. "You bastard, how dare you give me the finger? You will definitely regret it if you don't take this chance." Thomas's power aura overflowed. His body began to be enveloped in light, burning his clothes. Meanwhile, the hunters from the Scavenger Guild were now ready to face the Shadow Army led by Iron. And at this moment, Jinwoo and Thomas stared at each other and began giving commands to their troops. "Advance!" Instantly, the two armies began moving to attack each other. On one side, the tanks from the Scavenger Party raised their shields and created barrier magic to block every attack. In response, the Shadow Army fearlessly began their assault. Without a second thought, Thomas then charged brutally into the Shadow Army. He kept plowing through the Shadow soldiers with his incredible physical strength. On one side, Tusk then activated his barrier magic to block Thomas. However, Thomas didn't stop there. He then took a stance and jumped like a bullet. With his speed and physical strength, Thomas could easily destroy Tusk's defense and pierce through his head. This summon is quite strong. My members probably can't handle it. After Tusk was destroyed, Thomas then landed while watching his members helplessly fighting Jinwoo. Jinwoo, standing there, then stared sharply at Thomas. Instantly, Thomas shot towards Jinwoo. In response, Iron came to block him with his shield and axe. "Move aside, you idiot!" Thomas then immediately landed a punch, destroying Iron in one attack. But suddenly, Jinwoo had disappeared from Thomas's sight, and it turned out Jinwoo was now beside Thomas and immediately released one punch and one slash right at Thomas's stomach. However, Jinwoo's attacks didn't leave a single scratch. Thomas smiled and was about to launch a counterattack with his punch. Jinwoo, who couldn't dodge in time, was hit by Thomas's blow and was sent flying into the air. But it didn't stop there. Thomas immediately activated psychokinesis to forcibly pull Jinwoo's body. Thomas said, "It seems you are underestimating a national-level hunter too much. Feel the difference in power between us and surrender now." But Jinwoo didn't stay still and activated the skill Monarch's Dominion. Jinwoo then took control back, forcing Thomas to stand still. Thomas, feeling his body pressured, was very shocked. "What the hell is this? Why does it feel like he's forcing me to stand still? Damn it! Even though I pulled him towards me, he chose to attack me directly." And by utilizing the pulling force Thomas provided, Jinwoo then launched his powerful punch. Because Thomas was constantly under the pressure of Monarch's Dominion, he couldn't dodge Jinwoo's punch, which landed squarely on his cheek, drawing blood. Thomas was sent flying backward. "Damn, I'm bleeding!" And suddenly, Jinwoo was in front of Thomas to deliver another punch. "What did I tell you? Feel the difference in power between us and surrender." Instantly, Jinwoo unleashed a barrage of punches from all directions. Thomas, who was cornered, said, "All right, I'll stop playing with you now." He then activated the skill reinforcement. Thomas's body began to transform, covered in golden armor. It turned out Thomas was one of the fragments of the rulers. Jinwoo, realizing this, retreated momentarily and murmured, "I remember what Kamish said. There are 4 humans who have borrowed the power of the rulers. They are the national-level hunters who managed to defeat Kamish, and one of them is definitely Thomas Andre." In his current form, Thomas stood challenging Sung Jinwoo, but Jinwoo, undaunted, immediately came attacking. In response, Thomas immediately slammed both his hands onto the ground. "Capture!" And instantly, the ground in that area was utterly destroyed, producing a massive shockwave. But luckily, Jinwoo still managed to dodge it by jumping into the air. But again, Thomas activated his skill again. "Capture!" By creating a black sphere in his hand, Thomas forcibly pulled everything within its range. His members, recognizing the skill, immediately moved as far away as possible. Meanwhile, the shadow soldiers remained still, watching what was really happening. And surprisingly, the shadow soldiers began to be sucked towards the black sphere released by Thomas. The black sphere sucked in everything around it with tremendous force. Jinwoo was now holding on to a pillar while using Monarch's dominion. In his heart, he thought, that power is incredible. He can suck in anything as if it were a black hole. I might have been sucked into it if it weren't for the Monarch's dominion skill. Thomas then stared at Jinwoo with his sharp gaze. And boom! An explosion occurred there. All of Jinwoo's shadow soldiers vanished without a trace. And luckily, Jinwoo still managed to avoid the explosion and stood on the roof. Thomas stared at Jinwoo and said, next time, I definitely won't miss. Meanwhile, on one side, the hunters began to move away from the fight. Evacuate all the wounded and get as far away from the master as possible. At this moment, Thomas was seen taking a stance and shooting through the air towards Jinwoo at an incredible speed. But calmly, Jinwoo kicked Thomas's head with his foot. As a result, the two of them were sent flying apart. Thomas then activated capture to pull Jinwoo. In response, Jinwoo instead pulled Thomas with Monarch's dominion and prepared to release his punch. Because they were pulling each other, the collision between them would inevitably become faster. Thomas thought to himself, is he accelerating the movement by pulling me towards him? Does he intend to face me head-on? All right, I'll gladly accept it. Reinforcement. Thomas then increased the power in his arm and immediately threw his punch. Smash! Boom! Jinwoo's punch and Thomas's punch collided with each other. The impact of their punches produced an extremely powerful shockwave. And at that moment, Thomas was shocked to see the armor on his hand beginning to break. And boom! A huge explosion occurred, and it turned out Thomas was now sent flying back very hard, screaming in pain. Ah! After Jinwoo landed, he immediately shot forward to launch another attack. However, Thomas didn't stay still and launched a punch towards the approaching Jinwoo. But with his incredible reflexes, Jinwoo could dodge the punch. Jinwoo quickly then grabbed Thomas's horn and immediately delivered a powerful blow right to Thomas's face. Thomas's armor even cracked from the impact. Meanwhile, from a distance, the Hunter Bureau members looked stunned seeing the terrifying fight. This is insane. What kind of monsters are they to be able to release such immense magical energy? This is dangerous. We must take cover. And at that moment, another huge explosion occurred. Adam said from afar, what was that? Isn't that Thomas Andre? What should we do now? Shouldn't we report this? Indeed, Thomas was now seen helpless and being beaten mercilessly by Hunter Sung Jinwoo. With a sharp gaze, Jinwoo kept landing punch after punch very brutally. Thomas thought to himself, how is this possible? How can a mage hunter unleash such power and speed? No, I can't possibly lose. Thomas then tried to attack with his claws, but Jinwoo easily parried it and continued to land a powerful punch right on Thomas's face. Thomas was now very frustrated with his helplessness. Damn! Am I really going to lose? The power of authority is the only thing that reflects who I am. I am Thomas Andre. Thomas tried to get up and said, what do you think? Is this enough to defeat me? However, Jinwoo immediately landed an elbow strike right on Thomas's head. I told you, I don't care who you are at all. Jinwoo then continued to land his punches very brutally. From afar, someone shouted, Hunter Nim, please stop. But Jinwoo paid no attention and kept beating Thomas mercilessly. Thomas's armor was seen starting to shatter after taking the punches Jinwoo unleashed. Thomas was now helpless and unable to fight back. And in the end, Thomas surrendered. Stop. That's enough. I admit defeat. Hearing that, Jinwoo immediately stopped his punch. Everyone who saw Thomas beaten to a pulp was utterly astonished, breaking out in a cold sweat. How is this possible? How is it possible for Hunter Sung to beat the incredibly strong Thomas Andre to a pulp like that? No one should be able to defeat Thomas. The world will surely shake when this news spreads. After the last battle between G2 and Thomas Andre, a hunter healer came to restore Thomas Andre, who was battered beyond recognition. All his bones were shattered, and he had lost a lot of blood. A potion alone would not be enough to heal him. It was best for a hunter-healer to assist in his recovery. He was able to survive that long because he was a national-level hunter. An ordinary hunter would have died instantly from such severe injuries. At this moment, members of the Hunter Bureau and the scavenger hunters were busy helping their colleagues injured by the impact of the battle. A moment later, a member of the Hunter Bureau reported that Hunter Guangdong-su had been found, not breathing and with no heartbeat. Everyone there was also shocked because they could not find Hunter Sung Jinwoo. Meanwhile, elsewhere, specifically in a tall building in Korea, Jinwoo was seen sitting with someone. Because at that time, Jinwoo had bought a shadow exchange to swap places with Baru, and Baru thought he was in America to heal Yo Jinwoo with all his might. Jinwoo said, "It's been a long time since you left Korea, right? What you see now is Seoul." The figure next to him then spoke, "My king, please give me a name." It turned out to be the shadow of Wang Dong-su, which Jinwoo had successfully extracted. His class was visible as Knight Commander. Jinwoo looked at him and said, "All right, because of your greedy heart, I give you the name Greed. How is it? Do you like it?" Wang Dong-su replied, "Thank you, my king." Jinwoo then told Greed to lower his head again, and of course, Greed immediately obeyed his king's command. To cut a long story short, the next day at the KSKN, the International Guild Conference was held. Representatives from each country began gathering at the conference venue. Jinwoo was seen passing through a crowd of reporters, accompanied by the vice chairman of the Hunter Bureau and Adam White. Jinwoo asked, "Why are there so many reporters here today?" The vice chairman answered, "It seems the reporters have heard about your battle with Thomas Andre, so you probably won't be able to avoid the media this time." Muttering to himself, the vice chairman thought, "I never expected him to defeat the Scavenger Guild Master alone." Soon after, Jinwoo entered the conference room. The moment Jinwoo entered the room, all eyes turned toward him. Even Hunter Liu Zhigang from China was watching Jinwoo. Some people began whispering, "Is that the Asian hunter who made Thomas Andre, the strongest hunter, run away?" Thomas, who was considered the strongest among hunters, was brought to such a state. It's hard to believe. They say he also contributed greatly during the previous dungeon break in Japan. After Jinwoo took his seat, the conference began. A professor was seen speaking at the front. "Nice to meet you all. My name is Dr. Belzer. As you all know, many powerful gears and monsters have been appearing lately. However, I think not many realize there are strange movements in the sky. From our observations, several dense energy masses have appeared in the skies around the world, which we call the Magosphere. This phenomenon can be found in 9 countries. Among these 9 countries, the most and densest Magosphere are gathered in Korea, located in Seoul. I don't know what it means, but I think there's no way to deal with it. But that doesn't mean you can just stay idle. Perhaps the world will undergo change once again." Hearing this, Jinwoo felt that the concentration of the Magosphere might be related to the number of monarchs. Afterwards, the chairman of the Hunter Bureau replaced Professor Belzer to convey something. "I have a message for all the hunters gathered here. I deliver this news with a heavy heart. 2 weeks ago, Hunter Christopher Reed was killed by an unknown enemy." Hearing this, everyone was deeply shocked. Is this a joke? Finding a national-level hunter killed is unbelievable. But if it's true, the killer must have power equal to or greater than his. And once again, all eyes turned suspiciously towards Sung Jinwoo, because they knew that a figure like Thomas Andre had also been defeated by Hunter Sung Jinwoo recently. However, Jinwoo remained silent. The Hunter Bureau chairman continued his speech. "Please don't misunderstand and listen first. There is a suspect in this incident, and he is Suspect S." A photo of Jinwoo's father was displayed on the projector as the suspect. Some people who saw the photo felt the suspect looked similar to someone present, namely Hunter Sung Jinwoo. On one hand, Jinwoo was slightly annoyed and muttered to himself, "What exactly happened to father? So that is the domain of the rulers. Why did that damn ruler create a monster using my father's appearance?" The Hunter Bureau chairman continued, "This suspect was found inside an American gate and is categorized as a monster that can speak human language. During the investigation process, he managed to defeat Hunter Huang Dong-su and escape. From their battle, the Hunter headquarters was turned into a sea of fire. So the conclusion is This suspect appears to be a humanoid monster that managed to exit a dungeon. He may have targeted and killed Hunter Christopher Reed. The Hunter Bureau chairman then showed a video of the suspect defeating Huang Dongsu. Watching the recording, Jinwoo realized something. It seems father was speaking with Huang Dongsu. His father said, "Never set foot in Korea. I'm saying this not for my son's sake, but for your own. You won't rest easy even after you're dead." Jinwoo then called Greed and asked, "Are those really his words?" Greed answered, "As you suspected, my king." Jinwoo thought to himself, "It seems there's no more doubt. Those two people are indeed my father." The Hunter Bureau chairman continued, "We request assistance from all guilds worldwide to capture Suspect S. You can contact us directly if you find him." Someone then asked, "Didn't the suspect claim to be a human who disappeared inside a dungeon several years ago? Is there really data about a hunter disappearing inside a dungeon? And is there proof that this Suspect S is not human?" The chairman answered, "The reason we call him a monster is because the magical energy he radiates perfectly matches that of a monster." According to data, there was indeed a hunter who disappeared inside a dungeon about 10 years ago. Someone asked, "Then why doesn't the chairman reveal the identity of the hunter you mentioned?" The chairman lowered his head and answered, "That hunter has a connection with someone present here. That is why we are not disclosing more information than this." At that moment, someone raised his hand and said, "Wouldn't it be better to reveal his identity to facilitate the capture?" The person speaking was Liu Zhigang, the 7-star hunter from China. Liu Zhigang smiled and said, "Let's get straight to the point. Does this monster suspect have any connection to Hunter Sung Jinwoo?" The chairman then answered, "If you really want to know, I suppose there's no other way." During the interrogation process, the suspect claimed to be the father of Hunter Sung Jinwoo. We have also verified it, and it is true. Of course, everyone who heard this was utterly shocked. Liu Zhigang then looked at Jinwoo and said, "Hunter Sung Jinwoo, if Suspect S is truly your missing father, and other hunters try to kill him, what will you do?" Jinwoo answered, "Naturally, a hunter hunts monsters. If the suspect is truly a monster, then I will eliminate him myself. But if he is not a monster and is indeed my father, then I will make sure to hunt down the hunters. I will protect my family, even if it means making every hunter in the world my enemy." After the conference ended, Jinwoo walked out of the room with Adam. Adam said, "I never expected Hunter Sung to actually say something like that in front of the 500 strongest hunters from 120 countries. I think only 2 hunters would dare say that, Thomas Andre and Dr. Lim. But unfortunately, Thomas is currently hospitalized." While Adam and Jinwoo were talking, they were approached by Hunter Liu Zhigang, the national-level hunter from China. Liu Zhigang then spoke in Chinese. Adam translated, "He said he once encountered a giant monster that fled across the sea to China. He was also shocked because he realized the giant monster was stronger than he expected. The battle became more difficult because it happened in the water. Since that day, he has wanted to meet Hunter Sung. He also wants to know what kind of hunter could defeat such powerful monsters so easily. He said he was also very pleased that you were decisive in defeating Thomas Andre. He said Thomas Andre was indeed very wrong at that time." Liu Zhigang then offered to shake hands with Jinwoo. Jinwoo thought, "I thought he was a person with a bad attitude, but it turns out he's an interesting person." Jinwoo then shook hands with him. Liu Zhigang then left, saying, "I hope that Suspect S is not a member of your family, Hunter Sung." After that, the Hunter Bureau chairman contacted Jinwoo and took him somewhere to convey important information. Soon after, Jinwoo was taken to a hotel and met again with Madame Sellner. Madame Sellner smiled and said, "It's been a long time, Hunter Sung." Jinwoo replied, "I never expected to meet you again, Madame Sellner." Madame Sellner then conveyed something to Jinwoo, that lately she had been having the same dreams. "My dreams show that these hunters are being hunted by a mysterious figure. A few days later, my dreams truly come true, as happened with Christopher. One by one, the strongest protecting the world will die. The mysterious figure hunting these hunters will not stop until its goal is fulfilled." After hearing all that, Jinwoo asked, "So, do you mean I should be cautious of them?" Madame Sellner answered, "No, Hunter Sung. On the contrary, I want to ask you to protect the hunters. I have also memorized the hunters who keep appearing in my dreams. Jinwoo asked, "Why are you asking me to protect the hunters?" Madame Selner answered that she found the same power within Hunter Sung as the power hunting the hunters in her dreams. Jinwoo muttered to himself, "Is it possible? Could Madame Selner have seen the power of the Shadow Monarch that time? If the power hunting the hunters is the same as mine, then the figures hunting the hunters are the monarchs." The Hunter Bureau chairman said, "Their figures exceed ordinary hunters, which is why a hunter with equivalent power is needed to stop them. To be frank, we didn't believe that you were the only one who could protect the hunters. But I began to change my mind after seeing your previous battle with Thomas Andre. Of course, we are not asking for your help for free. If Hunter Sung desires anything, we will try to provide whatever Hunter Sung wants. Even the runestone of the Dragon's Wrath will be given. This world has blessed the hunters, and the hunters must protect the world with their power. The world will not survive if they perish." Jinwoo lowered his head and answered, "I'm sorry, Chairman. I cannot do that because I do not yet know who my enemy is. I must take my leave." Of course, the Hunter Bureau chairman and the others were disappointed by Jinwoo's words. However, before Jinwoo left the room, he stopped for a moment and said, "Mr. Adam, can you give me the list of hunters you want me to protect later? And if possible, give me a chance to meet them." Hearing that, Adam smiled and answered, "Certainly, Hunter Sung." After receiving the request from the head of the American Hunter Bureau to protect the hunters, that evening, Jinwoo attended a dinner party held for the participants of the international conference. Seeing Jinwoo, who had recovered completely like a beast, was also very moving when he heard that his mentor had fought Thomas Andre for his sake. During the banquet, Adam approached Jinwoo with a notebook containing a list of high-ranking hunters who needed protection. The list showed first place was Thomas Andre, second was Lizzie Gang, third was Christopher Reed, fourth was Siddharth Bachchan, and so on. But because Jinwoo was too lazy to memorize all the names, he instead placed his shadow soldiers on everyone in the room. This way, Jinwoo could identify friend or foe and know how to fight them. A moment later, Thomas Andre grabbed Jinwoo with one hand, which was still bandaged. Thomas said, "Hunter Sung Jinwoo, let me ask you something. The wounds I received were so severe that even high-ranking healer hunters struggled to heal me. At that time, you could have annihilated my entire guild after defeating me. Yet in such a situation, not a single one of my members died, except for Huang Dongshu, who was the root of the problem. Hunter Sung, why did you spare our lives?" Jinwoo looked at Thomas and answered, "Because you didn't make a mistake worthy of a death sentence." Hearing that answer, Thomas paused for a moment and then turned away. "I see. After my hand heals, I'd like to have a meal with you, Hunter Sung. If you give your contact information to my assistant, I'll contact you later." Thomas then left. On the other side, Laura approached Jinwoo and said, "Actually, the master has shown his respect to you, Hunter Sung. No matter how he may appear, he is actually quite shy. So may I have your contact information, Hunter Sung? The master wishes to give you a gift as a token of his gratitude. If there's anything you want, please just tell me." Because Laura was slightly insistent, Jinwoo couldn't refuse. He thought for a moment and said, "Perhaps I would like a dagger." Laura replied, "Very well, I understand, Mr. Sung." Laura then left. After the matter with Thomas Andre was concluded, Adam was about to escort Jinwoo to meet the hunters on the list. However, Jinwoo replied that it wasn't necessary. Jinwoo then mentioned that he didn't see the 6th-ranked hunter here. "Huh? How did you know, Hunter Song?" Adam was slightly surprised. "It's just that a few days before the conference, we lost contact with him. Even the secret agents and the Brazilian government haven't found his whereabouts yet." Jinwoo felt that he might have been killed. The scene then shifted to Korea, specifically to Chairman Go Gun-hee's office. He was complaining about his heart pounding rapidly since the previous day. Although his heart had been like that for a long time, he felt it had gotten worse. "Is this my limit?" the doctor said. Before that, my life would be over in 6 months if I continued this job. But in reality, 2 years have already passed. I should be grateful I've made it this far. However, suddenly the area around the building abruptly turned dark. Of course, Chairman Go Gun-hee was startled by this situation. What in the world? How did this happen? At that moment, a mysterious figure appeared, sitting in front of Go Gun-hee, smiling with a sinister grin. Chairman Go Gun-hee thought to himself, "Who is this? I couldn't sense his arrival. He's not an enemy I can face. Am I dreaming right now?" The figure then took out an ice crystal in his hand and said, "The connection of this place has been severed from the outside world." And instantly an attack was launched, grazing Go Gun-hee's shoulder. The graze from the attack immediately froze and turned into an ice crystal.